this last week?
Yeah, no, we didn't, but good morning, everyone. We are on the air, and I'm chatting with Nadya Schubert, who you will see coming to us from St. Petersburg. Good morning, Nadya. How are you?
Good morning, Ann. I am very, very happy to be here this morning. I missed you last week. I know it was probably my fault, but just getting my life together was a big deal.
You were doing a Notes from Spirit workshop.
Yes, I was.
Vicky.
That's true. And everything benefits. Everything benefits. Putting it all together makes me whole.
And I wanted to introduce our program, and I'm keeping the light on Nadya, and I'll give you a quick scare why. I have an allergy, my eye is swollen, and the ego says, nobody wants to look at a swollen eye this morning. We'll look at beautiful Nadya instead. Well, I share Notes from Spirit. Nadya is a Spirit Scribe, and what that means is that she goes into a deep trance and receives these magnificent notes from Spirit. And when she wakes up, comes out of the trance, and as she says, the gauze pulls away, she has what we will share with you today. And it's done by automatic writing, which means there's no would you say it's a different kind of consciousness when you write? Is that a good explanation, Nadya, for?
No, aware consciousness. It's in a more of a zone. I mean, obviously I'm conscious because I'm alive and I'm not laying down sleeping. But my eyes closed. I don't hear sound. I don't hear a train that lives near my house and goes back and forth. I don't hear phones. If one of my dogs barks, it's very, very, very muffled. So they keep everything away from me to make it as clear a path to me as they can. So they call it automatic writing because there's no stopping to think about what I'm writing or trying to process what I'm writing or try to change what I'm writing. It's just a continual flow of words until I feel that a veil-like substance that I feel is around me lifts, and that's the end of the writing. I come out of it, sit in my chair for a few minutes, trying to build my body up to the normal pattern of breath and motion because they do keep me in such a space that everything in my body seems to slow down. So I sit there for a while. I come out of it. I print the writing. I'll glance at it, and I'll put it into a file folder and hold it for the show or the next book.
And the interesting thing is, oftentimes, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't understand the writings. It takes you a while to really get into the writings. So it's nothing that you've really processed on the human intellectual level.
No. And really, truly, the time I really get it is days later or a week later when we're working on it.
Yeah.
And you're working on it with me. Or I'm reading it to someone else and they point out certain things and I say, that's really very good. Now I get it. So I understand. I think that's truly maybe what automatic writing is really all about. You don't really own it.
Right.
It's a funnel that it comes through.
And that's really, they use the word channel, but the way I've known you, and I've known you for a number of years, it really is, I use the word Spirit Scribe, because you become a channel, but then they give you the message that is there for you first, and then for the world. And oftentimes they say that for you first, and then for the world. And every now and then, your sneaky Spirit Scribes will throw in one for me, but that's rare.
Right. And when they say for you first, I really never get it. I never get it for me because absolutely, I'm not writing for myself, and it doesn't get to me until maybe even a month later where I say, that's right, I really do, whatever. I finally get it. So I don't know if it's me not opening or wanting to open to the truth that Spirit brings through. It may be shielding me from what I really should be looking at and don't for a reason, and that's coming from me, not Spirit. So there must be reasons, but little by little, I'm starting to become more emotionally connected to them and more honestly connected to them without thinking about it. I'm just allowing myself to absorb it and feel comfortable with it. So this is where I am after 14 years.
Yeah, I was going going to ask you that question. How long have you been with this group? And you've been writing with and it's Sunday, so you get a certain group of guides on Sunday. You've been with them 14 years now.
And there's new ones coming in all the time. According to my teacher, Vicki White, she has always said that I might have started out with a group, let's say it felt like 12th century monks, 13th century monks. And from then on, it built upon itself with energies that would come in, row by row by row. So now I feel like it's just, the deck is stacked.
Okay. And let's go ahead and get started with today's reading, and then we'll talk more after the reading. And this one we're going to call, How Do You Measure Success? And what role does spirit play in your life? What role does spirit play in your successes and in your failures? So as Nadya reads, if you're able to get into a comfortable space, maybe put your feet on the ground, take a few deep breaths, and feel the writing and listen to the writing as she reads what she transcribed by Spirit, from Spirit.
Yes, thank you. Good morning to you, Nadya. We want you to know that we are well aware of your need for continuing to receive confirmation.
And Nadya, I'm going to stop you right here. That was
quite writing?
Not the reading.
Okay. Okay.
And everybody who's watching, that is a beautiful reading we had 2 weeks ago. And if you would like a copy of it, because that's the reading where the spirits wrote directly to Nadya and told her to get herself in gear and write more and raise her vibration.
You see what I mean by being in the zone? I mean, I'm already starting. I didn't even get the right writing. I'm sorry.
We're starting with How Do You Measure Success?
That's right.
But anybody who wants copies of these readings, because we're putting together a workbook where we would like your reaction to the readings, email me at ANN, at creatingcalmnetwork.com, and I'll make sure you get a copy. And we'll make sure Nadya gets a copy, too. Nadya, how do you measure success?
Okay.
Okay.
How do you measure success? Is it luck that helps you to attain what you desire? Is it your efforts that make all that you desire happen? Is it destiny? And if so, do you believe that you have a destiny in the material world to attain whatever your destined path takes you on? Of course, it is not only how you attain that which was designed for you. Do you go about it consciously or semi-consciously or unconsciously? And how do you feel when you arrive at that point of recognizing that this was where you are supposed to be or were supposed to be? Does it feel comfortable for you? And if not, do you feel that there is a need for you to carry yourself through the uncomfortable moments, knowing that what is waiting for you will bring you to a better place? And once you were able to withstand the difficulty of getting there, do you feel that this step was just the first of many designed for your growth and greater awareness of all things? Soothing your emotions as you begin to open to the many choices you have in life, filled with the adventure, if you will, of all things you may have had not experienced before, and learning to trust that each step was just the first of many designed for your growth and greater awareness of all things. For it is actually as if you are being driven by spirit to points of a different kind of reality, one that will open to you like a rosebud, filled with many layers, and learning to allow each layer to open that will correspond to the next step. Little by little, building in you a greater desire to want to continue to view and feel the dynamics that each layer will offer. Knowing that Spirit only wants for you to have the emotional freedom to allow yourself to explore without worry, without guilt, as some of those explorations may go into a range of things you were taught not to respect or follow. You will learn to allow your feelings to guide you in ways that you had not allowed yourself to do. Once you begin to open to the nuances of your feelings and remove your awareness from living only in your everyday practical ego mind, you will begin to flourish as you enter and learn to desire all things coming from that spark that burns like a candle within, never turning off, always bright and alive, as it shines with what is for your highest good. And as you begin to work with your spark, the effort will become less and less until there is no longer any effort at all. For you and your spark, that part of you that lives in your higher self, will have coupled in a way that will no longer feel like separation. And life will begin to flow as a beautiful river or stream with no rocks, no obstacles, just flowing smoothly towards the direction it was designed to go. In the beginning, as you work this way, you will feel the difference and notice it more and more as you allow yourself to open that door wider and wider until there's no longer a door, just a passageway, spiritually lit up for you to take your steps. Eventually, you won't even notice there is a contrast. It will all become parts of the oneness. There will be a melding for the greater good of all that you are and all that you will continue to be as you explore with greater desire those parts of you that you never even knew you had. And welcome each and every day of your life with the joy and the knowing that there will be challenges and that those challenges will take you to a higher plane, one that you can stand on with confidence and greater interest as you begin to grow into your higher senses, always wanting to reach out for more as you realize that it will be never ending. For as you grow and reach those higher levels of awareness, so will you bring to yourself those who will bring to you the peace and balance in all things. And in your growth, you will have a greater desire to pay it forward. All that you have experienced and all that you embrace will now become what you may offer to others, near and far, as you begin to understand that you are a part of a much larger circle, connecting from the material world to the spiritual world, always knowing that we are with you always, with love and support for your growth, materially and eternally. I got the chills on the end of the paragraph before the last paragraph, and that those challenges, that I'll be welcoming challenges because those challenges will take you to a higher plane.
I just got the chills when you read that. So what do you think resonated with us right then, that those challenges will take you to a higher plane?
That we should look at challenges with love and respect for our growth. But if I notice just in general life, if things are the same every single day, what happens to you? What happens to whomever you're around? I mean, it becomes very, you begin to stop appreciating things or each other in certain ways. You begin to take each other for granted. You begin to take what you do for granted and not even think about what you're doing. It becomes robotic. You don't notice it anymore. There's no pep or zip or, interest changes. It becomes dulled.
Right. And partly, I think challenges are Spirit's ways of communicating with us. And I see we have more listeners today. Sorry about the eye. I sleep with this guy, and he must have put his foot in my eye.
Riley. Hello, Riley.
Some kind of allergen. So I'm going to look like a boxer. But one of the things I notice in my life is that when I get challenges, it might be because I'm out of flow with Spirit. And it's Spirit trying to slow me down to say, no, you're out of flow. Turn and follow us. So that may be one area where the challenges, as we appreciate them and use them as teachers, are also our guides to shift a direction. I have in part of my book, Living with Spirit Energy, I have this line that says, which was channeled by Spirit but not automatic writing, chaos is often the foreshadowing of a change of direction given to us by Spirit. So I wonder if sometimes challenges could be Spirit telling us, slow down and maybe change a little bit, or be in tune, get back in the flow.
Definitely. I truly believe that we all have to have stimulation in order to make us interested in whatever it is that we're doing. I don't know how many people can change their lives, but I'm saying I think there are different ways to get to where you need to go. Don't go, let's say, on the same day to the same place you've always been going. I mean, I used to play with it, you know. Instead of turning left, I'll turn right and see where that takes me, just to see, to change the day up a little. When I really was set in my ways and I really had nothing to do, and each day became the same, that was a period of time in my life where I was looking outside of everything to find something to stimulate me. And it could go both ways. It could go in a good way, or it could go in a troublesome way.
One of the things, too, is that when did you begin to realize that you were in a flow with spirit, that you were being directed, and if you were aware and watched the nuances, you got more of a nudge, I guess, to the direction you needed to go?
I think this happened, first of all, early on, a lot happened. Because to me, when I first started working with spirit, I was an open channel on a radio. Come to me anytime you want. And they started coming to me anytime they wanted. And I was losing sleep. But I was getting all these messages that never happened to me in that way before. Once I got that regulated, my teacher again came into focus and said, you know, you can't live like this. It's exhausting. The energy's around you 24 hours a day. If you want it, just call it in. You don't have to accept it every time. You can set up times you want to work with them or not. Everyone has their own way. You can be on a project, ask for help, whatever it is you may need, but let it be more specific instead of a random anytime come in kind of thing, at least for me. But it was exciting. So I began to notice things very, very strongly because they were so different than anything I ever had. As I began to work with spirit through the years, it dulled in a way because it conformed to a certain way and stayed that way. And then I stopped for a while. And then when I came back to it, when I met you, and that was like, what, 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And I felt your energies flowing beautifully in anything you did, and was shocked one day when you said, you know, Spirit, I think Spirit wants you to write again. I think you should write again. And I'm like, why? I mean, I have nothing more. Well, I think they want you to write again. And you kind of like, you know, just pushed me here and there, everywhere, dropping hints. And we started. And that is maybe because I'm in a different place in life. That is when I started to feel almost very much tinges of what I felt when I first started writing with spirit. That feeling of adrenaline running through your body. The chills that I would get when I was with people talking about something, and it would come to me, not them. They didn't feel anything, but I felt things. So what was it for? Probably for me, and not necessarily for them. Or that was spirit communicating to me, you're on track, keep it going. You know, they were confirming, they were around me in their own way. For me, it was chills.
Right. And many people, we talk about the spirit chills, or like the goosebumps we sometimes get, or a gentle breeze that lets us know we have a connection, or to tell us to pay attention. But if you think about it, my theory is, and see if it resonates with you who are watching this, is that there's this beautiful spirit realm. We're all connected. And I oftentimes think we who are humans, and they call it the material realm, choose to come down here for this human existence. So we are spirits having a human existence, a human life. So we keep that umbilical cord to the spirit world, but sometimes as humans, we get busy, we forget, or we thoroughly forget. There are many people who don't even have a clue of the connection we have to spirit. But it's there for all of us. All we have to do is open up and invite it in. And
even if they don't know, if they just start paying attention to what they think are coincidences happening in their life, and to go back to step 1 that took them to step 5, they might start seeing the looping of all these connections coming together for focus, that it wasn't just a random thing, that the timing was right, that the person was in the right place, that the person was in the right place in his or her mind to be accepting of it. All these things. Now, I said when I got married, I think truly, you know, I didn't want to go too much into what I do because there are people there that wouldn't understand it, but I said, I truly believe that when the time is right and everything is in place, you are going to meet the person that is the right person for you. I mean, everybody. It doesn't have to mean getting married. It doesn't have to mean, it just means you're going, and this person could be just a great friend, a great companion. But it's got to be the right timing. You got to be in the right frame of mind, have the right maybe life experience to appreciate what's coming through. I mean, it takes a lot of steps, a lot of things to come together. But man, when you really look at it, now I look at it in these last couple of years, and it's truly amazing. It's right there. We just don't see it the same way as we don't see it the way I think Spirit brings it to us. Spirit is bringing it to us in the only way that they can. But we, in our human mind, don't always grasp it for some reason.
Right.
And it could be an innocent thing, very innocent.
Yeah, they're coincidences or nuances, because that's how they get our attention, I think. And even biblically, for Moses, they had the burning bush, because that was something different than what he would normally see. For us, if they put a burning bush in New York City, nobody would stop to notice. They would just keep walking by, so that's not going to catch it for us. The other day, I was going to go see a banker about a mortgage for a house I shouldn't get. And so Nadya and I, on the intellectual level, knew I shouldn't get it, but my determination was, and I went to the bank and they said, oh, this is the wrong address. You have to go to a different bank. I went to the different bank. They said, oh, she's not even working today, even though I had an appointment. And then I sat in the car and thought, thank you, Spirit. I get it. So instead of being frustrated by going to a wrong address and getting to the right address for my appointment and finding the person wasn't there, it was a matter of knowing that Spirit set up that to say, go on home and, get rid of this idea. So sometimes when we get those roadblocks, we need to stop, and instead of being frustrated, say, okay, what are the signs that they're giving me?
And not to look at them as roadblocks, look at them as help from a friend. Get a little help from your friends. That's what I'm looking at it as now. I really, truly, in fact, I get up looking for things that are going to happen now. I'm waiting. I'm trying to, okay, so what's going to happen in the next couple of hours? And when I get there, I wonder what's going to happen with that. So I'm already aware. Now, I wonder if that changes the energy, because I am aware that there could be possibilities that change when I do something this afternoon. I wonder if that changes their connection, or does it come more easily when I'm not expecting it?
I think it ramps it up. So for all of us, one of the things that could be helpful, and I think your light just blinked off, right? You're back with us with your beautiful light. With all of us, what could be helpful is taking some moments just to be still. And to, first of all, you protect yourself, wrap yourself in the divine healing light or in God's blessings or whatever, just so you don't allow in any kind of rookie spirits. But you want the higher spirits for your greatest good. And then just be open, and you will all feel it. Everyone who's watching this has ever felt like they're in the flow. Sometimes you're just in a flow, and things open up the way they should be. That lets you know you're connected. And I think when you, go ahead.
No, I think it's like catching every green light when you're going somewhere.
Yeah, right.
And you get there in 10 minutes instead of a half an hour, and you wonder, wow, how did that happen? You were supposed to get there at that time. And other times, they make sure you don't get there. Or they make sure that you don't get there at that time because you could have had an accident. Or whatever.
Sometimes all those red lights you get are for a purpose. It could be to avoid an accident. It could be giving you time just to reflect. So a red light is not always a frustration. It might just be Spirit says, take a little time. Not just one, but if you get like 1, 2, 3, all the way to where you're trying to go, it may be you're trying to slow you down.
It happened last week when I went to my training session. I was so ticked off, blah, 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 every single red light. I walk in there, I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm 5 minutes late. He said, your appointment isn't for another half hour. We changed it, remember? I walked out. That's why I was getting every red light. Oh, my goodness. That was amazing.
Right. So what would you think then if you were talking to someone who was new about the idea of Spirit being a guide in her life? How would you express that thought to someone to know that they have the option to tap in to be guided, that they don't have to be alone? Because as Spirit says, we are here always wanting to reach out, and we'll be with you always with love for your highest good.
I've heard more and more people around me say things like, I feel that sometimes there's this parallel place next to me where things are coming from like a certain side of me, or they'll feel it on a certain side, and they'll say, I wonder, could that be, what you're talking about? And I'm like, they'll come at you in whatever gentle way you can handle it. They're not there to scare you, just to kind of maybe give you a little tap and say, I'm here. So I think they have to get to that level first of not admitting, but enjoying the fact that knowing there's a parallel world next to you, around you, in front of you, behind you, always available to you to help you. You can actually sit there and ask them for help. You can write a list of things you want help on, and just that thought alone can start making changes. But you first have to admit or have to appreciate the fact that this is actually there. I don't think I could work or talk to anybody anymore. I've tried for years to let them know that this is, and they said, well, I believe in a certain thing, and I can't believe in that, and I believe that if I change the way I think, I'm going to change my world, and it's not going to be good. I mean, they have all these opinions and feelings about their life going on the path they want to go. They're very content and happy, and I say, I appreciate where you're coming from. I wish you a lot of luck. However, if it ever changes and you're in a bind, just ask and see what happens. And that's it. I leave it alone.
And, we use the vocabulary of spirit, our spirit guides, the spirit realm, but there are people who believe God directs them. That's semantics, I believe. It's the same kind of energy from greater than ourselves that is guiding us. So I wouldn't want semantics to get into someone's way, because what we're talking about is not religion. It is a way of just knowing that we are part of a greater universe. That we're all connected in this universal energy, and the energy wants our highest good. So if we tap in, we can flow with that goodness. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Nadya, thank you for being with us today and talking about this. And next week we are going to talk about a very recent writing of Nadya's about the chaos in the world. It was one you had about 2 Sundays ago, Nadya, and I will send it out to anybody who would like to have the writing ahead of time and to give us your feedback on it. But it's in this chaotic world. How can we get our balance? How can we, you turn on the news and we hear all this horrible stuff. How do we find that spirit link, and what's our role in that chaos? So that'll be a very exciting writing. If you're interested in Nadya's work, this reading and the one we did 2 weeks ago about Are You Your Own Stumbling Block come from her book, Notes from Spirit. It's available on Amazon in ebook and also in paperback. And then the writing we'll do next week is brand new. It'll be in some other new book that Spirit's going to tell us about. So thank you, Nadya. Anything you'd like to say as we say goodbye to our glorious seekers?
I'm glad that everyone tuned in that did tune in, and I hope you enjoyed the show. It was a pleasure having you on our show, and I wish you all a very happy and spiritually connected in some little way day today.
Yeah, look for miracles. Expect miracles. Look for that nuance. And again, if you'd like to communicate with me to get the readings, be part of the workbook that we're working on, and ANN@creatingcalmnetwork.com. So go out and have brilliance. When I see you next week, I hope I have both eyes, and go make some magic. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.